Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to part 2 of the 12th Winter 2021-2022 update from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go again, it's time to bring you part 2 of another winter update. Of course, this is the penultimate winter update in 2 parts. Number 12 is like the penultimate update, just got one more 13th update to go next week as well, one more season round, and then we're done. You know, we're done with our winter updates. It'll be time to give you the GavsWeatherVids winter forecast. So we're pretty much coming to the end of the journey now. But we have got this update to do, you know, the second part of update number 12, and then of course we've got update number 13 next week. So I shall get on with part 2 of the 12th Winter 2021-2022 update for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video release day was our 7 AM upload, and we've also released a 10 to 14 day as well. There may be other content as well. I'm recording this video well in advance of Monday, so you know, whenever's been released, just please check out videos, like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. If you have not seen part 1 of this epic 12th Winter 2021-2022 update, looking at things like sea surface temperature anomalies, solar activity, Eurasian snow cover, etc., 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 quite a bit on the stratosphere as well this week with some strat forecasts, then, you know, you can check out part 1 on the GavsWeatherVids YouTube homepage through the Winter Updates playlist. So give part 1 a watch if you have not yet seen it. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. And thank you so much to Richard for the amazing GavsWeatherVids Winter Updates gear. Thank you so much, Rich. I love it. I love the Winter Updates gear. Thank you so much, my friend. I'm not going to see this much more. I'll see it next week, but then that would be it, really. You know, but it's been fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Richard for the amazing gear. Thank you so much to Shryan as well for all of the help on both part 1 and part 2 of the 12th Winter 2021-2022 update. Thank you so much, Shrine, especially for getting these analogues together for me. So thank you so much to my good friend Shrine Bruin, and also to Richard Short for all of the help on part 1 and part 2. And you know, it's a team effort, it's a joint effort. So thank you so much to Shrine, and also thank you so much to Richard. Okay, I think that's everything I've got to tell you. So we should just say it can be quite a long video as always with the long range video, so you'll be able to watch the video on demand whenever you want through the playlist on the YouTube homepage for winter updates. I hope you enjoyed this season of winter updates. We are drawing to the close on them now, so I just hope, you know, fingers crossed, they've been okay. You've enjoyed watching them as much as I have enjoyed doing them. Please like the videos if you have enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Right, okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a hurricane special, but we will also bring some data later on for Eurasian snow cover as well. So this is a little bit of a mashup, this 12th update. But we're going to start off with the hurricane season for our analogues this week. So, of course, we've been showing you this on a week-by-week basis. This is the Atlantic hurricane seasons by ACE, Accumulated Cyclone Energy page, which, you know, Shrine have been keeping updated for us throughout the past 3 months. So, for ACE, ACE is like the amount of energy that each one of these storms and cyclones is emitting. Each storm emits its own individual amount of energy. As we have explained, I explained this yesterday, sort of tropical storms, hurricanes are transporting heat from one place to another. It's one of the ways, along with several others, that the Earth regulates its own temperature. So what these storms are doing is taking taking heat via energy from the tropics and dumping it ultimately within the northern latitudes and within the poles. And of course, each one of these storms and hurricanes emits its own individual amount of energy, and then overall you total it up, as we explained yesterday, into a final number for accumulated cyclone energy for the season. So we're going to be looking at this year's particular ACE number and classification. So the classification is below normal, near normal, above average, and hyperactive. We go way back to 1851 with this. We know we've had a pretty big season, but we did have an early shutdown. So let's have a look and see where ACE comes in for this season. So accumulated cyclone energy actually comes out above normal for this season with a total ACE number. We explained this yesterday, but I've got to go over it again before we have a look at analogues with a total ACE number so far of 145.10. We're not that far from hyperactive. So sort of the minimum for hyperactive is around 160. So another storm, you know, would have done it and would do it. And it's possible, I'm recording this on the 17th of November. It is possible that before the end of this season, officially before the end of November, we could get one final storm. I wouldn't rule it out. And if we did, we could put on that extra, you know, sort of 15 or so, 15 points to get us to around 160, which is round where hyperactive comes in. But it's been an above normal season anyway, with an ace number of 145.10. That's after 21 tropical storms, big amount of tropical storms, 7 hurricanes, and 4 major category 3 or above hurricanes. Not overly excessive this season for hurricanes and also for major hurricanes. You know, the average tends to be around that 7 and 3, really. So that is the reason that despite the high number of tropical storms, because we haven't had a high, also a high number of hurricanes and majors, that is the reason that we end up above average rather than hyperactive. But it is quite a close run thing. So what a lot of these storms have been doing is giving minimal amounts of energy, I suppose. But nevertheless, it still gets us to above average. So, what we're going to do for our first set of analogues is very simply look at winters following above average hurricane seasons. Now, would you believe we're actually more hurricane seasons that are hyperactive compared to those that are above average, which I've always been very surprised about. You know, you think the sort of average would be you know, what you get most often, obviously, and then you think sort of below average and above average would be quite closely matched, and then hyperactive would probably be the rarest season. But that is not the case, actually. It's more likely that you get a hyperactive season than you get an above average season. I'm not quite sure what the reason for that would be, but there we go. Anyway, with an above average season, it might get to hyperactive. Just keep that at the back of your mind, everybody. But as far as we know, these are the most relevant years. So this is our first winter following an above average hurricane season. It's 1916-1917. So to start us off, we have got a severely cold winter here with lots and lots of high latitude blocking and low pressure to the south of the country, and winds obviously are in from a very cold easterly direction. This is in the middle of the First World War, and of course the trenches froze up across much of Western Europe, and very, very cold winter. Not quite sub-zero, doesn't get a sub-zero CT month with this, but you know, it is a very, very cold winter with plenty of snow. Long gap then through to 1951, 1952. So the next time we have an above average hurricane season, remember not hyperactive but above average, is 1951, 1952. This is quite a cool winter with below average heights to our east and above average heights to west. So it's quite a westerly winter, but it does have regular cold snaps and regular cold interludes coming and going. Another pretty long gap through to 1966, so the next time we have an above average hurricane season after 1951 is 1966, and this one again is winter of 1966-1967. This is quite a mildish sort of winter. Most of the winters in the 1960s were cold. There were a couple that were milder. This is one of them, actually. So it did have some cold snaps. I think there was a little bit of cold weather coming and going. There's barely a winter in the 60s, but does have some cold interludes. But for 1960s winter, actually this is one of the milder 1960s winters in 1966, 1967. A very long gap then through to 2000. The next time we have an above average hurricane season is in the year 2000. So this is 2001. Which shows that we have below average heights to west and southwest, above average heights to the north. Getting down here, this is it's a cold winter, generally cold winter Scotland. For England and Wales, it's a little bit on off. There is cold weather in there, so there is some snow. Even in the south, we get some snow at times during winter of 2000 and 2001, but it's primarily a cold winter for the north, and for southern areas there is also, between the cold snaps and cold interludes, southern areas there is also quite a bit of mild, wet and windy weather as well. But yeah, that's definitely a cold winter up in the north, especially so for early February, which did bring a very, very snowy spell to northern areas. Our next year that is above average for ACE with hurricane season is 2008. So the winter of 08-09 is looking like this, with above average heights to our north and also northeast, and below average heights to our south. It's a bit of a teaser winter with winds in from the east. This does bring cold weather, especially so through there's a cold spell around Christmas to New Year, but the proper cold weather with this winter is in the first half of February, which does bring quite a lot of snow to many parts of the country as well. A cold, snowy spell from the east initially in early February 2009, and it's the beginning of a run of cold winters from 08-09 to 12-13. There's a series of cold winters through that period, and that is the first one of them following an above average hurricane season for ACE. Our next one is going to be 2011. So this is 2011-2012. This is a very cold winter across eastern parts of Europe, with the area below average heights through there. The above average heights pulled out into the Atlantic, and so this is a milder winter. I say there's a run of cold winters from 08-09, 12-13. We get one off, which is 2011-2012. That's a milder winter. It does have a very cold snap during early February of 2012, but otherwise generally quite a mild and dry winter. The cold in this winter is over across eastern parts of Europe, very, very severely cold for much of eastern Europe in 2011-2012. Then we have 2012 itself. So the next time we have an above average hurricane season for ACE is 2012. So winter 2012-2013 is a very much back-loaded winter. Overall, the analog looks like that, with below average heights to our east and blocking. Change the colour, blocking within the high latitudes, winds in from the easterly direction. And so this winter does have quite a mildish sort of December. It's cold early on in December, then mild, wet second half of December. January of 2013 has a 2-week cold spell. Through the middle part of the month in particular, weeks 2 and 3, cold and snowy, gets a bit milder later. And then February, a little bit on off. There is cold and snow coming and going in February 2013 as well, but it's really March, actually, just outside the winter, where it gets severely cold, and especially so the second half of March and into April, actually, we're freezing cold weather then in 2013. Above average hurricane season for ACE is the next one is 2016. So 2016-17 is just anticyclonic. So that's a mild, dry winter, very forgettable winter in 2016-2017. Next up, we have 2018-2019. This is another sort of mild, dry type winter. It does have a cold snap in January, but it has an exceptionally mild spell in later in February of 2019. Really, really warm spell of weather late February 2019. Overall, that's a mild, dry winter again, following the hurricane season of 2018. And then finally, we have 2019. So we have a run, 2017, 2018, 2019, have 3 years there. No, I think it's 2016, 2018, 2019. 2017 was hyperactive, of course. So this one is Polar Vortex of Doom winter. So many of you are worried about this arising again. There's the Polar Vortex of Doom up there with the high pressure to the south and the continuous westerly winds. That was very, very mild and stormy winter 2019-2020, the PV of Doom. So sorry, everyone. Right, so let's bring all of that together then. So this is how all above average, it's how all Decembers combined are looking following above average hurricane seasons for ACE. All Decembers combined. We have not got 1916-17 included in this, by the way. That's taken out. So we start from 1952 and go to 2019-2020. Reason for that is that the more modern years, we have quite a few modern years there, are not included in the original set of analogues that we can create at NOAA. So, this is how, again, this is how all December's combined are looking following above average hurricane seasons for ACE. Generally, it's a westerly signal for these Decembers with low pressure to the north and high pressure to the south and winds in from the west. So, a relatively mild, wet and windy signal for those Decembers. All Januaries combined do get a little bit more interesting. This is how all Januaries combined are looking following above average hurricane seasons for ACE, accumulated cyclone energy, with above average heights to the north and northwest, below average heights to the south and east. You kind of envisage these Januaries are quite cold a lot of the time. I think a lot of the cold of that is going into eastern and southern Europe, it has to be said. So it could be a very cold signal for those of you watching in the Balkans, for example, and across southern and southeastern Europe. Nevertheless, I think because the high pressure is away to our northwest, at least some of the time, with quite a few of these years, we're probably bringing in cold weather from the east and from the northeast as well. And then this out all February's combined are looking following an above average hurricane season for ACE, and with this we tend to get the above average heights across western parts of Europe, just generally an anticyclonic sort of signal and probably not overly cold. This is how all winters combined are looking following above average hurricane seasons for ACE, with the above average heights to our southwest. Some sort of lower pressure meandering through here. It looks like it would be a particularly cold signal for southern and southeastern parts of Europe potentially. So that's all seasons from 1951-52 down to 2019, 2020, Polar Vortex of Doom. If we were to take out the final 3 years, 2016, 17, 2018, 2019, and 2019, 2020, if we took those 3 out, how does it look? Take out the final 3. Just wanted to do that. So this is how all Decembers combined are looking with the years from 1916 to 2012. So 1916, 17 to 2012, 2013. It does make quite a significant difference, taking out the final 3 winters, interestingly. So this all Decembers combined again from 1916 to 1912 with low pressure very much over Western Europe. So that's still the same, but the low pressure is much further south. High pressure is pulled out here, and the jet stream is further south. So cold snap potential in an otherwise wet and unsettled December. This is how all Januaries combined are looking for the above average hurricane seasons for ACE from 1916 to 2012, or it would actually be January 1917 to January 1913, of course. And it does make a very significant difference. The blocking signal strengthens a lot within high latitudes, and the trough of low pressure just generally pushes back west, which is a colder signal bringing in wind from the northeast. So generally from 1916 to 2012 or 1917 to 2013, it is a colder signal there, quite significantly so, actually, with a cold and wintry January now suggested for the UK and many parts of Europe. Then that's how all Februaries combined are looking from sort of 1916 to 2013, following above average hurricane seasons for ACE. So with this one, again, we have blocking. It's more towards our west, and so that probably brings the wind a little bit more in from like a northwesterly, so slightly modified direction, but probably still quite cold. Much as southern Europe looks potentially quite cold and wintry with the jet stream down there as well. I think, you know, from 2000 and from 1916-17 to 2012-13, it's a colder signal, though, across the board, and especially so in January, but also December and February are affected by that and may have colder potential with that as well. And all winters combined, lastly for this first set, following above average hurricane seasons for ACE from 1916-17 to 2012-13, looks like that. It is a colder winter signal, quite clearly, with this trough of low pressure across the eastern parts of Europe and blocking away to the north and to the northwest as well. So the 3 more recent winters, you know, they suggest a milder outcome, but before that, actually, when you have an above average hurricane season for ACE, it does suggest a colder outcome, really. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? Right, we'll stop the video there, pause it there, and we shall be back very shortly, and we'll continue to look at hurricane season. This time we will look at total storm numbers, which will be another way of looking at this hurricane season. More about that in a second. But I shall pause the video there. You go off and stretch your legs, and we shall see you back here in around 1 second. See you soon. Okay, we're back and we're ready to resume part 2 of 12 Winter 2021-2022 update from GavsWeatherVids. It's a bit of a hurricane specialist, so if you've enjoyed the video so far, then please smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. And thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, before we break, we was looking at hurricanes following winters following above average hurricane seasons for ACE. There's another way of looking at this as well, though, this hurricane season, which is to look at the total number of tropical storms that we have had. So we have had quite a high number of tropical storms, and that is the reason that it's been an above average season, because actually we haven't had an overly large number of hurricanes or major hurricanes. Actually, we've had quite a sort of average type season for hurricanes and major hurricanes. So it's the tropical storms that's got us to above average and quite close to hyperactive, really. If we've got one more hurricane or something, that will probably tip us over the edge into hyperactive for this season. So what we're going to do now is count down winters following the top 18 seasons for tropical storms. You know, the biggest 18 seasons for tropical storms from 18 to number 1. So let's do that then, shall we? So this is at number 18. This is 2008-2009. It's back again. So the 18th biggest season for total tropical storms was, in fact, 2008 hurricane season, tropical storm season. The winter of 2008-2009, again, it's a teaser with above average heights to our north and below average heights to our south. The winds again in from an easterly direction. That's a teaser winter with the coldest weather in early February. We spoke about it before, so we don't need to speak too much about it again. Number 17 for the biggest hurricane, for the biggest tropical storm seasons, we have 2003. So this is winter 2003-2004, which looks like it should be a cold winter, but it wasn't really. It's quite a mildish winter, actually, with above average heights to our west. Cold winter for much of Eastern Europe again. That trough low pressure digging through just there. We did get a cold spell, though, in this winter, which was from mid to late February through to early to mid-March. It's like a 3 to 4 week period, but it was quite cold there from February into March. Then at number 16 for the top 80 tropical storm seasons, we have got 1954. The winter of 1954-1955 was a cold winter with above average heights around Greenland, and then we get the below average heights across Western Europe as well. Winds in from the east. That was quite a mild December in 1954, but around New Year, 54 to 55, it starts getting cold. Early January 55 gets cold. And then it's just regularly cold and wintry through January and February of 1955, a classic sort of cold January-February combination. Number 15, we've got 1950-1951. So the 15th biggest tropical storm season was 1950. This is how 1950-1951 looks. It doesn't tell you a huge amount about this winter, really, with this area below average heights over West Europe. It's certainly a very wet winter, but what that doesn't really tell you is that there is a very, very cold December in 1950. Kind of on a par with 1981. Not quite as cold as the December to remember 2010, but it was very cold and snowy in December 1950. Then after Christmas and New Year, as often happens when you have it really cold in December, it gets milder in January and February of 1951. At number 14, we've got 1949-1950. This is a relatively mild winter. In fact, it is a mild winter with below average heights, low pressure out to our west and winds in from off the Atlantic. That's just a classic mild winter for 49-50. At number 13, we've got 2017-2018, so the 13th biggest season for tropical storms was 2017. The winter 2017-2018 looks like that. It's the beach from East winter. Of course, it has the below average heights to our east, above average heights from the Azores, high pulled away from us a little bit, and blocking up here. It's rather on off. There's a cold and snowy spell in December of 2017. Then, a little bit on off through January 2018. And then it really is the second half of February 2018. But the beast bites and the beast is unleashed late in February 2018. At number 12, we've got 1936. This is winter of 1936-1937. This is a relatively mild and wet winter with low pressure in off the Atlantic, along with those west westerly winds. So that's a pretty mild winter for that one. Another very mild winter is at number 11. This is 2019-20. The PV of Doom is back. Can't get rid of it, can we? With the above average heights to the north, the below average heights to the south, and income westerly winds phenomenally wet, windy and mild for the polar vortex of Doom in 2019-2020. Right, at number 10, we've got 1969, winter of 69-70. It's quite a cold winter, especially so late on. This one has above average heights through the Atlantic up to Greenland. Below average heights to our east, winds in from an east or northeasterly direction. That gets colder later, although it does have a cold spell around New Year of 69-70, but it's really sort of later on in winter when it gets very cold and snowy. Overall, it is a cold winter, though. Top 10 then. At number 9, we've got 2012-13. So the ninth biggest season for tropical storms was in 2012. And so 2012-13, we spoke about it before, of course, with the below average heights to our south and east. Blocking up here, it gets colder later. It's cold on and off through particularly January and February. There is quite a bit of snow actually through the middle part of January 2013, but it really is later on in winter, but it gets very, very severely cold for, really, really cold March and into April 2013. At number 8, we've got 2011-2012. We spoke about that one before as well, with the below average heights to our east, the above average heights pulled out west. So it's a relatively mild and dry winter. It does have one potent, very cold spell in early February of 2012. Number 7, we've got December to Remember winter. We've got 2010, 2011. And so the blocking here over Greenland, that's telling you what happens through the first part of the winter of 2010-2011, when we have a December to Remember, our coldest December since 1890, and very, very, very nearly the coldest winter on the entire CT record back to 1659. Unbelievably cold December, and huge amounts of snow during that December as well. Of course, what you have to remember is that the second half of winter gets very much milder, and February 2011 is actually a very mild month. So it really is a classic front load, the ultimate front loaded winter really for 2010-2011 at number 7. Number 6, we haven't zoomed in, so I better do that, I think, hadn't I? That was a little bit of a surprise, wasn't expecting that. There we go. At number 6, we've got 1995-1996. Look at this. This is a cold easterly winter. Low pressure down here. And high pressure is over Scandinavia. This is a very easterly winter. Occasionally we will get a winter where easterly winds are just on and off throughout the winter. And with this one, the easterly starts at the beginning of December. There's a Scandinavian high and easterly wind in the first week of December 1995. We're still getting easterlies in March and even April and even May of 1996, which is not uncommon for spring. But it's the idea that this winter very much is one where the Scandinavian high keeps coming, and then it goes for a while, and it comes back, and then it goes for a while. Overall, this is a cold winter, though, in the middle of the 1990s. Is at number 6, it's 1995-1996. At number 5, we've got 1887. So the 5th most active season for tropical storms was 1887. The winter of 1887-1888 is also a cold winter, with the above average heights in the Atlantic going northwards, and the below average heights to our south and east. Again, winds are in from an easterly direction, so that is another cold winter for 1887-1888. Does have a very cold Christmas as well. I think Christmas week to New Year is really cold and often snowy in 1887. At number 4, we've got 1933. So this is how 1933-1934. It's a cold anticyclonic winter, this one. Very dry winter as well, with high pressure centred over top of the UK. Quite a lot of easterly winds. I think the main thing of that is that there's lots of frost and fire. I don't think there's all that much snow. It's too anticyclonic, really, for all that much in Wales. But it's quite a coolish winter, I think, that one. Now, at number 3, we've got 2021. So there's the question marks. What does the winter of 2021 have, 2021-2022 have in store? Will it be a cold winter? Will it be a mild winter? Will the beast be unleashed? Will we have a polar vortex of doom? it's all to be revealed. But there it is at number 3, the third most active season for tropical storms. And this is the reason that we see that this hurricane season is classified as above average for accumulated cyclone energy, is because it's the third most active season for tropical storms. So there we go. 2021-2022 is number 3. At number 2, we've got 2005. So this is winter of 05-06. The second most active season for tropical storms is 2005. This one, we've seen it a lot. I think this will be a leading player when we come to do our forecast, actually. It's shown up a lot in these winter updates. So this one, again, with high pressure to the north, low pressure to south, looks like it should be a cold winter, doesn't it? But it isn't particularly. It's a failed cold winter. There is a prolonged cold spell that sets up in the second half of February to the early part or middle part of March, around 4 weeks, prolonged cold spell that did include some snow. But generally, for the analogue, it's a failed cold winter in 05-06. And then at number 1, what do you think number 1 will be? Can you guess what it is? The most active season for tropical storms is, can you believe it, last year, 2020. And so there it is, as the analogue for winter 2020-2021, the ultimate teaser winter, with lots of blocking to the north, but the below average heights just not quite going far in the south to allow the cold air in from the east. It is a cold winter across Scotland, though, regularly cold and wintry up there. For the rest of us, it's just a colder winter with a little bit more in way of cold weather and snow compared to many previous winters, but not, in its own terms, a particularly cold winter. Was that setting up, though, a much colder winter for the following winter, for 2021-2022? That is the question, isn't it? Right, so let's start going through all of those years then. This is how all Decembers combined are looking, following the top 18 seasons for tropical storms, and it looks like this. So below average heights across western parts of Europe, above average heights in the middle of the Atlantic, and winds in from a northeasterly direction. Looks like there's cold potential with that. It's not classic blocking signal, but it certainly looks like there would be cold potential with those Decembers. All Januaries combined, following the top 18 tropical storm seasons, look like that, with a Scandinavian high appearing, and very much sort of suggesting, anyway, but we could get easterly winds in those Januaries. We do have low pressure down here as well that will be trying to come up against that Scandinavian high. So, wintry potential with those Januaries, definitely, via that Scandinavian high. Some of them could be really quite cold indeed. And then all February's combined, one of the top 18 tropical storm seasons looks like that. Again, it's a cold signal. This time we get the below average heights across western parts of Europe. We have the above average heights in the Atlantic, extending up towards Greenland. And over here, winds generally in from the northeast. I reckon that's a cold February signal overall. All winters combined, following the top 18 tropical storm seasons, looks like that. So again, cold winter signal, cold winter potential, with above average heights tend to be to the north, below average heights tend to be to south. Winds tend to be coming in from an easterly direction. You would, a lot of the time, be expecting those winters to be unleashing quite cold weather. If we narrow things down, just have a look at the years after 1950. This is how all Decembers combined are looking, following the top 18 tropical storm seasons. Post-1950, it's still quite a cold signal, I think. Cold snap potential, anyway, with the below average heights across the rest of Europe, above average heights in the Atlantic towards Greenland. There would definitely be cold snap potential there. But what happens in January, even better signal actually after 1950 for blocking. So this is how all Januaries combined are looking, following the top 18 tropical storm seasons. And again, you notice the heights rise around Greenland. We've still got a Scandinavian high in business, so very much suggesting easterly winds, lower pressure tends to be pushed down here. And that is a cold signal for January, whether it's whole set or whether it's after 1950. January looks like it's favoured to be cold. When we have the top 18 tropical storm seasons. And then all February's combined post 1950, following the top 18 tropical storm seasons, looks like that. Again, there is a blocking signal. It is a little bit reduced in February, so I think the focus of the coldest weather is on January here. But nevertheless, cold snap potential at the very least, maybe some quite cold weather coming through at times with those Februaries. Then finally, this is how all winters combined are looking following the top 18 tropical storm seasons. It is a cold signal for these winters. With the above average heights up here and the below average heights down there, winds in from the east. So a cold winter is favoured following these big tropical storm seasons, you know, the top 18 after 1950. It's interesting, isn't it? Because from an ACE perspective, above average isn't quite as clear cut for cold, but from a tropical storm perspective, it's more clear cut for cold. I suspect the reason that's happened, this has been a very, very strange season. 2021 is very, very strange. So when we have had we've had 21 tropical storms for this season. Normally, 9 times out of 10, that would coincide with hyperactive hurricane season. You know, to get that level of tropical storms, you'd normally expect a high number of hurricanes and majors as well, or quite a high number, higher than we've had this season. So normally that amount of tropical storms would take you into a hyperactive season, because we haven't had quite as many hurricanes and major hurricanes in this season. You know, that leaves us at above average, but it was a very close run thing. And I mean, like last season, we had like 30 tropical storms. It was an unbelievable season that we had last year. This one, though, had 21. So we have had a high number of tropical storms this season, but just not quite enough hurricanes and majors to tip us over the edge. But I reckon this season has been, from a tropical storm perspective anyway, has been more in line with what you'd expect in a hyperactive season rather than an above average season. And that is the reason that those years are more towards colder winters, because of course the idea is that the more energy you transmit from the tropics to the poles, the greater the chance of blocking later on in the winter. Right, okay, got one more set of analogues to show you, and we go to something completely different with those. We're going to look at Eurasian snow cover. More about that in a second, but I should pause the video there, and we shall see you back here in around 2 seconds. See you soon. Okay, we're back, and we're ready to resume the final section of part 2 of the 12th Winter 2021-2022 update. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this 12th update so far, then please smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can be able to see future weather content, including future winter updates, although there are not many more winter updates to go, but you will be able to see future winter updates, including winter forecasts released on Thursday, the 2nd of December, and future live streams and much more as well. So please smash that like button. Make sure you sub to our channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Before the break, we was talking about the hurricane season. We are now moving on, though, to look at one final set, which will cover Eurasian snow cover, which is going to be quite interesting. So let's do this then, shall we? So what I'm going to be looking at is October snow cover. So this is how we look in terms of Eurasian snow cover as of the 1st of October. This is Friday, 1st of October, where we have the snow line across eastern parts of Siberia, you know, through there, and rather patchy at that time as well. That's how we're going to get to the end of October. That's Friday, 29th of October. Big increase in snow cover, of course, across Russia. So big increased snow cover there. Also quite a lot this season, which is a little bit unusual across Scandinavia. We did get quite a lot of snow across Scandinavia during this October. One of the better years that we've had in recent years for Scandinavian snow cover as well. So actually 2021 does come out in the top 16 in terms of Eurasian snow cover. And so for this final set of analogues, we thought, why not show you winters following the top 16 Octobers for Eurasian snow cover. So let's do that then, shall we? This is at number 16. This is 1982, 1983. And so this October would be 1982. 16th, biggest season for Eurasian snow cover would be October 1982. Winter 82, 83 has the above average heights pulled out to our west, and below average heights to the north, winds in from the west. It looks like a rather westerly winter. What happens with this winter is that it gets very cold later on, though. So it's very stormy around New Year of 1983, and then in February it gets much colder with a proper snowy easterly outbreak, and then it's cold into the spring as well. Number 15 for the for average or above average Eurasian snow cover, we have 1996, 1997. This one with above average heights again to our eastern through the country. So again, this is one of those analogues that doesn't tell you all that much about winter overall. So it has a cold start to winter, December, particularly Christmas and New Year into early January is very cold of 96, 97. Then it gets much milder later, has a mild, wet and windy February in 1997. At number 14 for average or above average Eurasian snow cover, we have 1976, 1977. This one is a front-loaded winter. It's cold in December of 1976, but gets mild by February of 1977. It's an extraordinarily cold winter for eastern parts of America, though. Their coldest winter on record, I think, in 76, 77. And then at number 13, we've got 1973, 1974. This is just a mild, wet winter, really, with low pressure over to western country and incoming winds from off the Atlantic. That's a wet, mild winter, 73, 74. At number 12, we've got 2000, 2001. It's back. We saw it earlier. It's back again. High pressure to the north, low pressure over to western country, winds in from the east. That's a cold winter for Scotland and somewhat colder winter further south. At number 11, we've got 2016 in terms of average or above average Eurasian snow cover. That brings us out at number 11 at 2016. So 2016, 2017, again it's back. This is a mild and dry winter with high pressure over country. By the way, with this, we're only going back to 1966, remember, so we can't go back into the that far into the mix of time. At number 10, we've got 1993, 1994. So this one is generally a mild 1990s winter, with low pressure in of the Atlantic, but it does have some colder episodes, colder outbreaks. So around Christmas of 1993, it gets quite cold, and then in February of 1994, gets quite cold as well. Otherwise, there is long stretches of mild, wet weather, as you typically do get in 1990s winters. At number 9, we've got 2003, 2004. It's back again, so it looks like it should be a cold winter. Wasn't particularly, but it does have that prolonged cold spell in the second half of February and the first half of March. Number 8, we've got 2021. So there's a question marks back yet again. So the 8th biggest winter for Eurasian snow cover, is 2021. Winter 2021, 2022. What does it have in store? What will it unleash on us? BB of Doom? Beach from the East? Or will be revealed. At number 7, we've got 2010. This is how the winter of 2010, 2011 looks again. Recapped. Saw it earlier on. Northern blocking to the north, around Greenland, low pressure to the south. It's a December to remember. Cold December since 1890, but with a very mild February at the end. At number 6, we've got 2004. So winter of 0405 looks like that. Above average heights again. Out to our west. This does have another quite cold run late February, early March. It's interesting. It's like 3 winters. 2003, 4, 2004, 5, 2005, 6. 3 of them. But have like quite cold weather at the end of February into early March. Of those 3 winters. Interesting. Number 5, we've got 2020, 2021. So the 5th biggest season for Eurasian snow cover in October was 2020. Was 2020. So this is like again the classic teaser. 2020, 2021. Above average heights to the north, below average heights to our south. Winds in from the east. That trough just not going quite far in the south, though, to make it a properly cold winter. At number 4, we've got 2001. So this is winter 2001, 2002, with plenty of high pressure across Western Europe. Again, that's one of those analogues that doesn't tell you all that much about the winter. It starts off quite cold in December of 2001, and then it gets very mild by February of 2002. At number 3, we've got 2012, 2013. So this one again, showed up earlier, is back. Above average heights to the north, below average heights to the south. Winds in from the east. That gets very cold later, but does have cold weather on and off throughout that winter. At number 2, we've got 2009. So this is how we look with 2009, 2010. This is a proper cold winter. It has blocking around Greenland, it has a low pressure pushed southwards along with the jet stream as well. Winds in from the east. So that is a genuinely cold winter, and it is at number 2. And then finally at number 1, in terms of above average to above average Eurasian snow cover in October, it's 1977. Winter of 1977, 1978 is also a bit of a teaser, actually, with high pressure to our north and northeast, lower pressure to the south, winds in from the east. So it's relatively mild early on in the winter. December 1977 is quite mild, but it gets colder later on in winter. Big cold spell during February of 1978. There have been a lot of similarities between this year and 1978. All the way along, even the way this autumn is panning out, a lot of similarities with 1978. Right, let's put all of that together then, and then we're going to be done with this 12th update. So this is how all December's combined are looking, following above average or above average Eurasian snow cover in October. So it's a cold signal for these Decembers really, with the above average heights in the Atlantic going north, but below average heights to our south and east, winds in from an east or northeasterly direction. You could definitely envisage some cold weather in those Decembers. All Januaries combined look like that, with blocking again within high latitudes, low pressure to the south. Looks like January would be favoured to be quite easterly, doesn't it? Bringing in a lot of easterly winds. And again, there is definite wintry potential with both Januaries. All Februaries combined also has the blocking there around Green. So it looks like a lot of these winters just generally quite cold from start to finish, with a continuous sort of blocking signal really. Low pressure tending to be more towards the south, along with the jet stream as well. And finally, this is how all winters combined are looking, following average or above average Eurasian snow cover. And yeah, you know, we send the jet stream southwards with low pressure through here, blocking primed around Greenland. Classic sort of Greenland blocking type signal. And winds in from the east. It looks like most winters are definitely favouring a cold winter, you know, following average or following the top 16, average or above average. October's for Eurasian snow cover. How very, very interesting. Remember, we only go back to 1966 with those, but some people say that's more relevant for the climate that we currently find ourselves in. Anyway, that's it. We've come to the end of the 12th update in 2 parts. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. You will find out as the very first thing that you see at the beginning of next week's final winter update. The 13th winter update is the last winter update. You'll find out at the beginning of that how this 12th update has moved the thermometer, if indeed it has been. The very first thing you see at the beginning of the 13th update. Will this have pushed us further into the cold bracket, or will it have pulled things back a little bit towards mild, or will there be no change on the thermometer? You're going to find out. You're going to find out next week as the very first thing that you see in the 13th winter update part 1 on Sunday. Thank you so much to Shrine and to Richard for all of help on video. Thank you so much to all of you for watching. And I shall pause the video, stop the video there, I should say. And been a long one again, nearly 50 minutes. That's all for now. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on Sunday and Monday for the part 1 and part 2 of the 13th and final winter update. Wow, wow, wow. We'll see you then.